Today I'm going to continue on the painting, working the midground and the focal point, which is going to be right here. And before we get started, I would love it if you guys subscribe to my channel and click on the notification button if you want to know when I have a new video coming up. So this is where I am now. Beginning, I have put in a general sky color, background color, and working up towards the midground, which is what we're going to work on today. Okay, that's it for now. Let's get started. Okay, so this is actually dried. It's a little bit tacky, meaning that it's just dried on the surface. I'm now using the my number 2 medium, which is 2 parts linseed oil and 2 parts turpentine. We still use turpentine here in Greece, and I always use it with open doors and windows. But personally, I absolutely love the smell of turpentine. Not healthy. But I think if we are in an open space, haven't got everything shut up and you can get some fresh air flowing through. I have the balcony door open and another window open in this very small studio, and I consider it safe enough. So I'm going to focus on this area here for this video. In Greece, many of the rocks are roundish. It can be tricky. I think, of course, you can paint roundish rocks as long as they don't look like eggs, which I have a tendency to do. So I tend to make my rocks more jagged. The important thing of painting rocks is to create sharp edges, because rocks are not mush. They are sharp. You don't want the entire shape of the rock with sharp edges. That's a whole nother subject, and takes a lot of learning and understanding on how to do that. What is important is to be using a flat brush, especially in this stages. As you can see, it's all kind of mushy and uninteresting at the moment. Hopefully I will be able to fix that. I'm going to be adding the natural burnt umber with some ultramarine blue, which makes this beautiful dark color. And I'm just working on creating some dark definition in the rocks. Now up in this area, you don't want to create a lot of interest. You don't want sharp contrasts. You don't want detail. Johannes Floathouse taught us. He was my very first online teacher and mentor. In this area, all along the edges of your painting, he called it the no-fly zone, which means you just kind of want to stay out of that area. You don't want to fly out of the painting in any area. So if I created a lot of detail up here, strong contrast, it would draw the eye up into this area and out of the painting. So we want to remember to keep this area just uninteresting. Interesting without being too interesting. Just getting some definition, building up the darks, defining them a bit more. As you can see, this is one big shape here in the shadow area. And now I'm going in and creating definition to get the eye moving. One of the things that I'm thinking about right now is connecting the dark shadows. And since this is going to be my focal area, I want my brush strokes to be coming to that area, which is why I am not moving everything just down this way or up, depending on the shape of the rock that I'm creating. I am also applying a brush stroke that will support this movement to this focal area. That's a bit too dark. The value is too dark for the top of the rock, but I like it for the sides that I want to develop, to create a three-dimensional form. I'm still thinking about large shapes more than the minor shapes, the tiny rocks. And I want to cool down these back rocks, this shape here, quite a bit. So I'm adding the burnt sienna, the burnt umber, because it makes a nice dull gray, and these rocks certainly are a dull gray. I personally have a tendency to paint too lightly, too quickly. And I work with that by deliberately painting like a one value shade darker in the beginning. I don't want this rock to be light because it will pull away. So I'm going to tone it down more than what I have in in the study that I did when I went down to the beach. That's getting better. I'm also going to tone down this face. And just try and alter slightly the angle. Right now it's, it's the size of this with the size of this is pretty close. That's not going to work. It looks like a V or very clumsy seagull wings flying. I have seagulls on my mind. So I want to work with that. I'm still unsure how I want to approach it. I could make this rock smaller or extend it out and make it more fluid. Now I see what I want to do. I'm going to get a new brush and a smaller one, and cut into the width. This brush isn't working very well. It should be a hog bristle brush, and it is not, so it's not doing me any good. I'm actually don't have a very square, small, flat hog bristle brush. So we are going to improvise, do what we can. See if I can get this to that works better, doesn't it? It's getting there. Do you see how it creates trouble in the way you look at and what you see in the painting? Even if I was painting there and the rocks were like that, you don't paint them like that. That seems to be working a lot better. Still too bright. the top of the rocks, I am going to be painting or keeping the tone cooler than the sides here. And I think I'm going to get rid of that little blippy thing there, that little blippy rock. It brings, if I put it in, it will take away from the coherence. That's the word I was looking for. That I'm looking to give. Let's see how that's going. Okay. I think it's coming out all right. So I'm just getting some rock shapes. Have not started working on any of the edges. There's not a lot of definition, just a basic idea of where I want to put the rocks. I may make this one big one. Not quite sure yet. Yeah, maybe. I am working on not creating the same shape over and over, like this and this are the same shape, same size and shape, basically. And not something that I like. It doesn't work. So either one will go smaller, much smaller, or I will combine them into one big rock. I think I want to go with smaller for variety's sake. That creates more interest. Okay, I'm going to stop right here for this session. We have a basic idea of what it's going to look like. So you can see this shape and this shape are pretty similar and not going to work. So I'm going to have to work on that and fix that. In the next round, when I go back in and work on those rocks, I will work on that as well. So next I'm going to be doing the foreground rocks and then working on the middle ground and foreground sea. So that's the plan. Thanks for hanging out with me this long. It's been nice having you.